one of the saddest stories I ever saw was the story of how the Israel-Palestine negotiations essentially didn't come together and then did just because Clinton forced the two leaders to be in the same room.
Really?
They didn't even want to talk to each other. It was like straight up like, I don't want to talk to them. They don't want to talk to me. We're enemies. This is this. And Clinton said, you're going to sit in the same room. And he did it arguably for selfish reasons, but in a good way. He was like, I'm going to solve this issue. You're going to sit in the same room. And he was like, neither of you wants me as your enemy. We're going to sit in this room and we're going to go. And they refused to speak to each other for a long time. They just didn't speak to each other. They didn't speak to each other. They didn't speak to each other. And they would have meals and everyone would meet up. And then one day the story goes, one of them just turns to the other and was like, how's your family? Literally. Palestinian leader,
No way.
Israeli, yeah. One of them just turned to the other and said, how's your family? And the conversation evolved. And then the next time they spoke more, and they never spoke about the actual issues each subsequent meeting. And then one day, one said to the other, do you actually want to do you want to discuss this? And that's when they made the most inroads.
No.
That's when they made until that suicide bombing that happened, it looked like there was a path to a two-state solution. It looked like there was a moment in time where Israel-Palestine wasn't going to be what it is today. But the biggest breakthrough for me came in the fact that two human beings,
interpersonal relation.
two human beings saw each other as human beings and no longer as like a country's name. And because of that, they began the journey. And like it got ripped away from the world, I argue. But I even think about that when we use like words like the Russians.
Yeah, totally.
I'm a little sad sometimes because I go, I have nothing against Russians. I've been to Russia. I went there for the World Cup. I've met Russians everywhere in the world. Russian people, forget what they've given us in the world, like, art and ballet and math and like lots of things. But as human beings, Russians are some of my favorite people I've ever met. But then we say the Russians as shorthand for the Russian government.
Yes.
And I think what we do is we create the perfect propaganda for the Russian government to use on its citizens to say, look, the whole world hates us.
Yep.
And it's like, no. Actually, we have nothing against the Russians. We have an issue with Vladimir Putin's government.